Today's episode is brought to you by ShopNackiaSalmon.com is our new online store. Our community started our brave journey of living intentionally in 2018. Together, we are owning our stories and sharing our powerful words through our products that connect, educate, inspire, and empower us. Check out our t-shirts, hats, face masks, hoodies, and much more at shopnackiasalmon.com. We ship globally.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Catchup. And I am Nackia Salmon. Catchup is a project where we co-create a safe space for us to reminisce on fun memories of back in high school. We also share our experiences so we learn from each other, and we try our very best to motivate, inspire, and empower each other to live our best life. Thank you for joining us. And today, my guest is my BFF, my heart, my love, Jorja Williams Lindsay.
My Kia.
Listen, man, Catchup started in 2018 and it take COVID now for we sit down again.
This is Catchup take 100.
100 via Zoom.
That's how many attempts we've made at getting this Catchup done.
My gosh! You see the state of my cards them since 2018. I'm using the same cards, they have seen it. I feel like there's so many energy and memories attached to the cards. Me keep the same old.
You can't let them go, right?
You can't let them go. All of my spelling errors and everything. So your graduation class was 1996 with me. I know that you cannot share 1995 too. You have some people from other years.
Yes, I do.
But you loved us more. I'm joking. And five green.
No, I'm kidding.
Five green.
Yes.
All right. Where are you located now?
So I am in Tampa, Florida.
All right. You are going to give us high level using milestones from 1996 graduation to now in Tampa, Florida in 2020. What have you been up to since graduation?
All right, so let's see. When I graduated, I moved to Kingston and went to Ardennes because, unfortunately, I didn't do very well in my CXCs.
You got to upper fifth.
Yes. But, there was a lot going on in my life at the time. So moved to Kingston in 96, went to Ardennes and did my CXCs there, and changed courses a bit because when I was at Manning's, I was doing the sciences, and then, I realized that I was doing the sciences because my parents wanted me to do it, not because I had a passion for doing the sciences. My father wanted me to become a doctor because we do have a lot of medical professionals in my family, and he wanted me to pursue the same course that my brothers did, and I realized that that's not where my heart was. So when I went to Kingston, I decided that I was going to do the business subjects and the arts. And then from Ardennes, I went to, sixth form, of course. And then from Ardennes to UE, graduated UE graduated UE in 2002, and then migrated to Florida in 2003. And and I've been based here since. When I came to Florida, I did my master's in human resources at Nova Southeastern University, and graduated in 2009. And I've moved from Fort Lauderdale to New Jersey, then from New Jersey to California, and then from California, now based in Tampa. And this is going to be home for quite a long time.
Tell us about your family, your immediate family unit.
Sure. So I have been married now for not counting the years of separation, because I will openly share that I was separated from my husband for a number of years.
Yeah, who knows you knows that. If who doesn't know you, don't. It's not because they don't know you then. Go ahead.
Right. So let's see. We have 3 boys. My bonus son, Anthony, is now 22. Yes, hard to believe sometimes that he's all grown up and doing his own thing, has a girlfriend and everything. And it's just like, when did you grow from this little baby boy into this big man, like doing your own thing and, making your own life choices? But,
Is he still in college?
He is in college. So
Look here, he hasn't contacted me about the internship. Just so you know, he needs to do that. Okay, back to you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in his final year of college and doing really, really well. He goes to FAMU in Tallahassee. And my firstborn, Jaden, he just turned 13 in August.
I know.
My baby. And then I have an 8-year-old, Ethan, who is the boss of the house. Yes, he is the man in charge. So he is the equivalent of your David. And it's funny because we always share stories, right, about how similar they are in terms of their personalities. They are very assertive, very bold and confident. And I love that. I want them to, continue to channel that and embrace that, because I realize how valuable that is, when you enter into adulthood.
For me, I struggle with boundaries for David. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to snuffle that thing, that energy, that confidence, but then it's how does he know when to stop? Like, you reach the border, you're playing on the border, you're peeking over the border, and he just wants to step over the border.
Absolutely.
And how do we know, like, I want to, like, have grenades just bombing money across the border, and I can't do that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I annihilate him when he crossed the border. I'm like, honey, you can't do that either.
Right.
That is the struggle.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips? Because I don't got nothing. I got nothing.
It is really, a hard line to toe, if you will. With Ethan, I just, as soon as he starts to cross over, I'm pulling him back. Okay, it's okay to be assertive. It's okay to be confident and express how you're feeling, but you also want to make sure that you're doing it in a respectful
way.
So we always have conversations. And I think I've gotten him to a point now where he understands. And there are times, it's so funny because there are times when he catches himself and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, mommy, I didn't mean to say it that way. And I'm like, okay, well, now you understand, right? That, there's a right and a wrong way to do things. And he really understands what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And it's one of the things that I love and admire about him.
They have a big heart, both of them. So when he realizes what he does, he can see the reckoning, and he's like, mommy, I love you, I'm sorry.
Yes, he's like,
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Right? Yeah. And it's gotten to a point where I just give him the look like, really? You just said that? And he goes, oops, I'm sorry. So, yeah, he catches himself quite a bit.
Tell us about your job.
So I am currently an area director of human resources. So my area just expanded in this pandemic era. So I previously had 6 locations that I would oversee. Now I have a total of 8 properties, including my own that I'm based at. So I'm based at the Wyndham Grand in Clearwater Beach. And I also have indirect oversight, if you will, of 7 other Wyndham properties.
If you want anyone to carry your bags for you as you visit these locations, please let me know. I will make the sacrifice. I will make the sacrifice and be your bag lady. Just let me know.
Anytime, Kia, anytime.
So one of your roles, or one of your responsibilities, or one of your jobs is being on my board. And let me just define what it is. So if you are going to be a person that's gonna do brave shit, brave things, you need a board. And Jorja has been on my board for a long time and served in several capacities, sometimes chief slapper to put her back into perspective. Motivator and also having a vision bigger than sometimes even my own. I'm like, I'm not there yet. And not to mention, there is a group of people that I pray with, and it's like your prayer group to cover you, and she's very much a huge part of that space. And not to mention the thing when you just want to cry and you have no words, you just want to go up on the phone and just bawl. Is that type of friend when you can communicate to groans through tears. Just be until you finish crying. So that's one of the other roles. Huge.
As you are for me, as you have always been for me. So it's definitely mutual.
Yeah, but you know, miserable I am. So, because I argue back a lot. And at any point in time, she can, you know what? Let's just leave her alone. There's been many opportunities for her to be like, you know what, we can stubborn girl, go on. But no, she's still here. So thank you for that role. You will be compensated sometime in the next 50 years or so.
The flight on the private jet, hey!
So I just want to say, I just want to point that out, that is huge. And that is huge in terms of as we are there for each other. And so much I can call you and bounce ideas off on in terms of your space and your professional experience, looking over stuff, reviewing stuff, giving me feedback, unbiased feedback when things are not quite, to Jorja standards. So I just want to say thank you.
My absolute pleasure, my love.
What do you do for fun? For your hobbies to relax?
Pre-COVID or post-COVID world? Which one do you want?
Give us both. What do you used to do before COVID for fun? Because I don't know if it's any different, Go ahead. What do you do for fun?
You may be right. Not a lot of difference there. So let's see. Definitely any outdoor activities such as going to the beach, camping. I love spending time with my boys. Love. So when I'm not working, I try to spend as much time as possible with them. So we go to the movies. We used to, I should say, go to the movies. Used to go to game arcades. Just finding different fun things and exploring things together. Definitely traveling. And it's funny because I love to go to new places, but I have a horrible fear of heights. The whole experience of being in the air, especially for any extended period of time, it drives me insane. So, I wish that I could take my car and drive to most places. But of course, I like exotic destinations, so they do require me jumping on a plane, unfortunately. But yeah, traveling, or I shouldn't say traveling, because it's not the traveling experience, but going to new destinations. Right, in a new destination certainly excites me. And just spending time with my friends, going out, grabbing a bite to eat, going and grabbing a drink, and just liming and just catching up. And
pure foolishness,
bug out and crazy and laugh and carry on. I love to laugh.
So Karen said to me once that your friends are not tired to hear you see them tired.
No, we love it. We love it. Trust me, we love it.
The skinny days, like he said, I can rehearse them now. Yeah, even when I'm talking about my exes, I can rehearse all your exes' names, what happened, what did, because it's the same stories you guys talk about.
We love them. But, we always have just a blast when we're together.
They can't breathe, right? Because even in Dubai, I same thing. We're like, we have to get up early for the next day. We did that.
Yep.
Well, it's actually smart enough to sleep. But she not sleep because she never asleep, She's like, I said, no, me not sleep. Go on.
I'm gonna kill you for this.
She used to me by now. She numb. Oh my gosh. We're gonna go back to your favorite memories of back in Manning school days. Who was your favorite teacher? You had one? You can't tell me who was not your favorite.
Yes. Can I give more than two? So I will say that my ultimate favorite teacher is Mrs. Gammon Lacken.
That's why she come on Catchup.
Love Love her, love her. You know, there was just something so special about that lady where
Still is.
she had this nurturing spirit about her. She was always very approachable, just someone you could sit and talk to. Whatever it is that you were going through, you could go to well, she was Gammon at the time. So you could go to Miss Gammon and just share openly with her and know that you were not going to be judged. And it was more where she treated us like she was our big sister, right? So the big sister, when you get in trouble, you can run to her. She's gonna get you out of trouble, or she's gonna give you some advice. I just she was more than an educate. Well, I guess if you look at it in the sense that you are an educator, not only because of the subject matter you're teaching, but you know, you're educating on life lessons. So I guess you can look at it in that perspective. But she was just more than a homeroom or a classroom teacher. She was a mentor. She was a friend. She was a sister. She was
a safe space.
She was a safe space, right? You needed encouragement. You needed some motivation. That's who you would go to. So love her. And you know, I would say that. I don't want to use the word runner-up, but my next favorite teacher, I would say, is Mrs. Jenny Clark. There was just
Tell me more.
Something about her. You know,
Was that English?
Yes, that was English, and I know that's not your favorite subject.
Nope.
But English was definitely one of my favorite subjects, and Mrs. Clark just had a way of presenting English in such a way that you could easily relate to it, you could understand it. She was always funny. She was just, to me, she was very, very down to earth. And, you know, you could see her outside of school and is the Jorja Williams, you know, how you do, that kind of, you know, she was just so friendly and bubbly and just always wanting to know, you know, what you're doing with yourself and just really taking a genuine interest in you beyond just the classroom.
So can I share that the only time I paid attention in English class with Miss Clark was if she is ever assessing Michelle's work, because it was extremely entertaining to hear Michelle and Miss Clark go back and forth.
Oh, yes. Oh,
yes. That's the only time. Otherwise, I don't remember anything else about English class. But Michelle, I'm like, what? I need to hear this. I need to hear this. I need to hear what Michelle wrote.
Yes.
I want to hear Miss Clark's feedback, and I want to hear Michelle's defense of her work.
Some good entertainment, man. Some
Very
good entertainment between Miss Michelle and Mrs. Clark. But good times.
What about memories? Your favorite memories? What was your favorite subject? Was it English?
It was English. It was English language and English literature.
So that's why I'm going to skip over it to memory.
Yeah, I know. You can't relate.
Can't relate.
As I am not able to relate to your math and your physics and your chemistry and all those subjects that I failed. I kept failing.
Fun memories of Mannings that you can share and be recorded. Because there's others that cannot.
Thank you for inserting that caveat, because you know.
Although we can totally out you on another episode. You know, Michelle did out you. She did lockdown. No, I think Michelle kept. Michelle kept it locked.
There are so many. I think I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. And as close as I was to my 95 graduating class friends, I had the most fun with the 96 group. You, Michelle, Shelly, Taryn, Jackie, Shanoy. Oh my gosh. And I mean, you know, what's crazy is that we found entertainment and fun in the simplest of things. Like going to KFC to hang out, right? Just sitting down and chit-chatting. Like KFC was our thing. We would go to KFC almost every day after school, or we would hang out by, you remember when we used to go by Richard's? Or let's see.
Richard's have so many memories for me.
Oh, yes.
So many memories.
Alka Plaza. Let's
memories.
Yeah. Sitting on the Loving Action. I mean, like, everybody's, right?
Because the boys, who are the boys that were kind of like, you know, in the group or were
sure. Oh, yes.
Garth Williams,
Garth, Farlon, Aldra, Patrick. And then, you know, Cecily and I lived together for a period of time there. So we just had the best times ever.
Cecily's a bad influence.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Cecily was hardcore.
Cecily come from Mount Alverna and broke we out. We were innocent.
Cecily just showed us a different style, but we enjoyed it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just so much fun. I would you know, steal out my father's car, my mother's van. I mean, we're talking 15 and 16-year-olds taking out vehicle and going on the road. And then Michelle and I got in so much trouble together. Oh my God. We would plan, and Michelle would stay by my house because it was just easier to sneak out of my house, of course. So Michelle would stay at my house, and then on a Friday night or a Saturday night when my mother fast asleep, daddy fast asleep, we just sneak out, put some dolls and pillows in the bed to make it look like we're still in the bed, and then we take the car and off we went.
And then I had to hear the stories because I'm in my boring house.
Yep, you were missing out, my love, missing out.
I missed out on a lot.
If you're watching this, you can't beat me now. Sorry, too old for that.
You know, some Matilda, she can put on 2 for you.
I'm sure she felt tempted a few times, but you know, you have to remind her sometimes, hey, I'm not 10 anymore.
To me, she was like the coolest mom in our green van.
Oh, to you, she was cool, not to me.
How would you describe your personality back in high school? What words would you describe Jorja? What words would you use?
You know, this may surprise people, but I was shy. Well, at least I think I was shy. I lacked confidence, I think. You know, I think most of it was because of my height, that I was extremely tall, skinny. People used to call me olive oil all the time. Let's see, what else? I was fun-loving, I'm still fun-loving. I would love a good laugh. I would say a little bit more reserved in the sense that only my close circle would know the outgoing, fun-loving side of Jorja. If I'm meeting someone for the first time, it would be very much unlike me to strike up a conversation, to get into details about what's going on in my life. I would have to know you intimately to be able to open up on any level. And that has changed since then.
Yeah. So tell me more things that have changed. How do you describe your personality today?
So today, I would say that I am a lot more confident. You know, over the years, I have come to really love my height and embrace the fact that, hey, I'm tall, right? It is what it is. I didn't make myself. I didn't say, here's the description, God. Make sure that you meet all these descriptions when you're making Jorja. So, you know, this is who I am. And I had to just say, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. So before, you want to catch me wearing heels. Like during most of my teenage years, I would not wear high heels. And I just felt like, you know, I'm too tall. Why am I going to make myself even taller for everybody to look at me like, where's this giant going? Now I put on my 4 to 6 inch heels. I don't give a crap about what anybody thinks. I strut. I am certainly a lot more open. with others. I socialize more. I think I'm still shy in a sense, just a little bit, but I'm definitely a lot more outgoing and a lot more open, like I said, than I was before.
Was there something that you used to believe about yourself that has evolved or changed?
Let's see. I would say back then, and stemming from my lack of confidence in myself, I did not feel as though I would have the same level of success that some of my friends did. You know, I went through a very, very difficult period in high school that created a setback, if you will. Well, at the time I saw it as a setback, but I realized no, that was just God's divine purpose for my life. But, you know, when I first repeated fourth form, and in 1994, my brother, the only brother that we share both parents, because my other siblings are all by my father. And so this was the only sibling that we shared both parents and we lived in the same household, right, throughout all his life. And when I lost him in 94, you know, I think one of the challenges that I had then was I didn't have an outlet to basically express how I was feeling about the situation. And I also, to an extent, masked what I was truly feeling. And so what would happen is at school, right, there was this facade of, you know, Jorja just being carefree, happy-go-lucky. I would go home and I would break down in tears almost every night because of his illness. I had to share the same room with him just in case anything should happen, you know, during the night that I could assist him with. And once he passed away, that emptiness that was there, it really broke me. And going through that experience, I just wasn't focused, right? So I ended up repeating fourth form, rather. And then when I joined, you know, your year group, and I thought I was doing really well, and then CXC results came out, and disappointingly, I did not get the grades that I was hoping to get. And I watched you, Michelle, Shanoy, Shelly, everybody just moving on to sixth form. And here I was without that opportunity. My only option was to move away to Kingston. So I felt at the time that I was a failure. I didn't have confidence in myself. And I felt that I was a disappointment to my family because, like I mentioned, my father had goals and dreams of me entering into the medical field, and of course, you need to excel at the
sciences,
biology, the chemistry, the physics, right, to get into that field. And I just felt like I let my family down. But you know, it took a while for me to realize that, you know what, my passion really lies elsewhere, and that God really had a different purpose for my life, and that it was God's intention for me to move to Kingston and meet the people that I met at the time, you know, formed friendships with the people that I formed friendships with, and that everything that happened, right, it was all ordained. And it was part of his plan for me to be where I am today. So looking back, that belief of, you know, being a failure, being a letdown to my family, I realized that those were just the obstacles that I just needed to overcome to get to where I am today.
So what advice would you give to that young girl during that time? If you could spend time with her, knowing what you now know, And being the badass you are now, what would you tell her?
I would tell her, don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself down. Take the lessons from every experience and know that life's journey is not going to be a smooth one. You have to not let those circumstances define you. You have to take that lesson from that situation, from that experience, and use those lessons to really help to shape you and mold you, and give you strength of character. And I think looking back from all the situations that I've encountered, I've certainly been able to develop that strength of character, and I've been able to, I suppose now, being able to share that experience with others to let them know that whatever the challenge, whatever the difficulty is, you can get through it with support, with love and encouragement from others, and above all things, through prayer and having faith in God.
Thank you. The next question I have is about the absolutely most challenging season of your life. Can you share it with us and tell us what you learned about Jorja? I know you're like, which one? I know that.
Yeah, there have definitely been a lot of very challenging seasons in my life. I think the one that most people know, and I'm trying to get through this now without choking up here. So pardon me for pausing, just to make sure I can get the words out. So
where's the Kleenex box? Close by, I hope. Go ahead.
Hopefully I won't need it.
Where's my Kleenex box?
So the most challenging season for me is what I'm having to go through now. So my older son, Jaden, he, when he was 7.5, diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And prior to that was diagnosed with autism. So I had to overcome the autism diagnosis, process that, and get myself to a place where I had to say, you know what, it's okay. Yes, he is different. He may not do the same things, he may not think the same or act the same as other children, but that's my baby, and I am okay with him being different, and I'm going to embrace what is special about him and not focus on his limitations. So I was in a place where I was processing that, getting over that, and here comes what at the time felt like a death sentence. And that was the muscular dystrophy diagnosis. So it was my greatest fear being realized. I always dreaded, I think back to a biology class that we did with
Mrs. Boyd.
And I remember her breaking down genetics and, how you can pass on certain things to your children. And I remember in that class going, because my brother, of course, had muscular dystrophy. And I remember sitting in that class and just processing everything and thinking, oh my goodness, if I am to have a son, there's a very high probability of me passing on, right, that to him. I didn't know at the time whether I was a carrier or not, but understanding the likelihood of me being a carrier and if I have a son, the increased risk of him also having muscular dystrophy. And when that diagnosis came, it broke me into pieces. And it's hard to put in words just all the emotions that I felt at the time, but I felt so much hopelessness. And I remember looking at Cliff. We were separated at the time. And I said to him, like, I'm sorry that because of me, you have a child who is most likely not going to live beyond his teenage years. And Cliff at the time responded, and, you know, something along the lines of, he is our child, right? And you're not at fault for what's happening with Jaden. And whatever is happening with him, we are going to get through that together. And we are going to be there for him every step of the way. And that gave me comfort. That gave me the encouragement to do what I needed to do and, you know, make sure that he had the best quality of life. And right now, as I'm watching the deterioration in his physical abilities, it is heartbreaking. It's devastating. I can't sit here and say that, you know, when somebody sees me smiling all the time and sees this bubbly, outgoing, jovial person, that there's not a lot of pain underneath all of that, because there is. But what I try to do is to make sure that I am not allowing myself to be buried in that pain, that I am not letting my children feel that whenever life hands you a challenge, or life hands you something that is very, very difficult to carry, that you're going to just completely fall apart, right? I've watched my mother, who I consider to be the strongest woman in the world, and what she had to endure raising a son with muscular dystrophy in Jamaica with very, very limited resources in comparison to what I have here, with accessibility to so much in terms of resources, support, etc. And I had to tell myself, you know what, it's going to be okay. This is the hand that I am dealt, right? And I have to face it. I have to carry it. I have to make sure that I do whatever is required to make sure that he has the best life possible. I read something about 2 years ago, and it was from someone who has muscular dystrophy. And it really resonated with me because it said, it's not about the quantity, number of years, but the quality, right, of those years. So when I read that, my approach was, I'm going to make sure that the quality of life that I give my child and I provide for my child is the absolute best. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Jaden
loved.
feels love in every way. He is loved. He is, when you see that child, he just exudes happiness, peace, contentment. He doesn't let his disability define him. You know, as he gets weaker and weaker, it's almost like his emotional strength is increasing. So even though physically he is declining, I see where emotionally and spiritually he is getting stronger. And watching him and how he approaches what is happening to him has really given me the encouragement and the reassurance that no matter what will come, it's going to be okay, and we're going to get through it. And at the end of the day, I still feel that God doesn't give us more than what we can really bear. I feel strongly about that he knows, right, what you're capable of doing. And I don't think if God felt that I wasn't the kind of mother to give Jaden the kind of life that he needed, then Jaden wouldn't have been my child. So I guess I can say that I have allowed that to carry me. And as much as I am hurting by what I'm seeing, I have to make sure that I continue to put one foot in front of the other. I keep moving, I keep going. I'm not going to sit back and wallow in self-pity and, get depressed over why is this happening? Because, when I think about it, Kia, so many people are going through something, right? We never know who, when we're talking to someone, when we're out there and we're around people, we never know the burden that they're carrying. We never know when, it could be a mother who just buried her child. It could be a wife or a husband, right, who just went through a bitter divorce. It could be someone who just lost their job. You just never know what someone is going through, what people are carrying, and everybody is given something that they have to carry, because no one lives a life that is void of pain, that is void of challenges, that is void of disappointment. No one. So I have embraced this as my, I don't want to say burden, because I can't see my child as a burden.
Blessing.
So I want to describe it. This is my
blessing. Opportunity.
This is what I have been given to carry, and I'm going to carry it, to the best of my ability.
So tell us, because we got a lot. Probably people have to reverse this section and digest that, because you just packed a lot. So what did you learn about you now? And I'm going to say something after you're done. What did you learn about you now in the space and time that you're sitting in now? What do you know about Jorja? What are you learning about Jorja now through this experience?
I've learned that I am stronger than I thought I was. I realized that there's a blessing in all of this, where I have been given broad shoulders, so to speak, to carry the weight that I carry. And it is really a blessing, because, I look, at different people, and not everyone is able to carry, right, the weight that they've been given to carry. And some people, fall apart. Some people enter into depression. For some people, it becomes a situation where they end up maybe taking their own lives, or life just ends up, I guess, in a rut for them, if you will. And I have to say that it is a blessing, and I know that it's because of my faith in God why I'm still able to stand strong. I'm still able to do the things that I'm able to do. So I've really learned that I have been chosen for a reason to bring my son Jaden in the world, who I know has not only blessed me, but has blessed so many others who've come in contact with him. The spirit that child possesses is just incredible. So it has made me realize that, you know what, as much as I thought before that I was a disappointment, that I thought I was a failure, I didn't have confidence, all of that, I do realize that, hey, I'm actually special, and God sees me as being special, to give me what he has given me, and allowed me to experience the blessing of my son, even in spite of the challenges.
Thank you for sharing. So the first thing I'm going to say is we've spoken about this many times. And for several circumstances, we've done our catch-up several times. You are in a totally different space in this moment in time. And it feels so different than when you have described this challenge in the past. And I'm here in my spirit jumping up. Oh my God, it's such a different, she's so in such a different place.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to Jaden and Eli. And when, I remember you telling me sometimes too with the autism diagnosis, if it's even helping him. So with our sons being autistic are in the present like nobody. My son Eli, when he's in the grass and he's feeling the grass, he's feeling the grass. He is in the moment. When he comes and he smells or kisses you or he's with you, he's with you. All his attention is with you. He loves so different from my bossy David and so different from my super nerd Joshua. His presence is teaching me how to be a parent in a totally different way. And the things that don't matter to Eli really don't matter.
Yep.
And they just come and just disarm you.
Yes.
In a way that they just make it so like you come and you think this, they just come and say, no, it's not. They just bring perspective so easily in our world. It's not even funny. Yes. Their mind is brilliant in terms of how they process information, how they see things. It's extraordinary. And it's like a different, to me, it's autism like, is it like I almost feel like it's a, what's the word? Evolution, like it's evolutionary, because the way how, it's not this way. I feel like it's this way forward, because the way how they process, feel, smell, touch is different. A kiss from Eli is different. I can't even explain it to you. Then I come back to my friend Jorja now, what you have done. So me walking this thing of being a parent to an autistic child and calling you have been an anchor.
Aww.
So I've seen the way from when you got the diagnosis to now, and there is just a wisdom. I remember when Eli had his breakdown, and I was like, there's just no words. And you're like, Nackia, it is a part of it. You remember? In fact, you have so many calls, I don't remember the specific call.
I do.
but so the space that I see, your heart is so much more tender and empathy, and I think it's showing up in how you lead your people. You always had a big heart, but it's just a knowing. It's a knowing, like when somebody said, I know how you feel, like, even me putting it into words, how I feel, and then you respond. And I know that you get it because the way you respond is just the right medicine. And the thing I needed to hear to not feel like I'm failing as a mother.
Yeah. No.
So you are I've seen the evolution of how you mother. And next thing too, you are so very present with him in having the time to you is so valuable that you maximize the time of just being present.
I try to. I mean, it's not easy.
I know, but it's a great model for us.
But I do try. When I get home in the evenings, and I have an hour drive from work to home, and when I get home, it's just their time, and I'm completely wrapped up in their world. And Jaden is 13, but he wants me to lie beside him every night so he can tell me the same story over and over and over and over and over and I have to give the same reaction every single time he tells the story. And he'll talk my ear off, and he'll, rub my hand, and he'll say, and what I love about that boy is he says, I love you after every single thing he says. Even when the I love you doesn't fit with what he's saying. He'll say, Mommy, did you know that, I saw the car on the road today? I love you.
What is the best advice you ever got from someone else? Can I tell you what advice I get from Jorja all the time? Whatever is the same advice. Let me hold mine. You do yours first. What is the best advice? I call it the Jorja Williams, because she has it from Shea Williams. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best advice you ever got?
Oh gosh, I've gotten so many. Let's see. The best one that I've gotten, and it's recently, and it was through one of my meditation sessions with Oprah and Deepak. And it was, there is reason to hope in every situation. And I really applied that to what we're going through now, right? In light of this pandemic, and where, so many people just feel a sense of hopelessness because nothing is the same. They can't do the same things they used to do. They can't travel. They can't socialize with people the way they used to. I mean, just so much has changed.
Yeah.
But even in the midst of all of that, there is still life. And once you have that life, there is still hope. There is still a reason, right, to keep pushing yourself, to keep dreaming, to keep believing, to keep hoping. And that is what I'm holding on to now. So I'm also seeing where, for me personally, I, in the beginning of all of this, like everybody else, I was just completely devastated. But as I meditated more and, coming back to that message of finding hope in every situation, for me, it was, okay, what can I take from this experience? How can I use this to better myself in a sense? And for me, now I do my journaling. I do a lot more reading. I have even taken it upon myself to make better financial decisions. So I started investing, and small amounts, but I'm already seeing some great returns on those small investments. The time, spending quality time with my family, my immediate family, right? Because I already spend a lot of time at work. And then, if we had the ability to go out and do all these great things, maybe I would have to split some of the time that I would spend with them with spending time with my friends or maybe other family members. No, all my extra time goes to them. And especially for Jaden, where, as he continues to get weaker and weaker, that time is so, so valuable. So I'm finding the hope, in a sense, I guess the joy too, to an extent. Even in the midst of this, I am more in touch with myself. I'm more in touch with my spirituality. And I don't know, Kia, for me, I just have a sense of peace.
What are you most proud of?
My boys. My boys, and two very different personalities. Very, very, very different personalities. Jaden is my snuggle bear. He's very affectionate, very loving. He is, for me, my hero, because I look at what he's facing every day, and he still approaches things with just the most positive attitude. Like, you rarely find Jaden, of course, if he's having a meltdown, right?
Yeah.
That just comes with his condition. But outside of that, this child has the most positive attitude you can ever find. He's just always happy, and he finds joy in the simplest of things. And Jaden will see something, or he will see you wearing something, and he just thinks it looks funny, and he will just burst out laughing, and you're like, what's so funny? And the way he laughs, you will start laughing, right?
It's infectious.
Something, right? It's just so infectious. So it's just, he is my entertainer. He's just my joy. And then Ethan, I am just so proud of him for, he said to me the other day, so Ethan has a stuffed animal that at 8 years old, yes, he still carries the stuffed animal, and he takes the stuffed animal to the dining table with him, and he's there pretending as if the stuffed animal is eating. And I'm like, Ethan, you're 8, and having a stuffed animal at 8 years old might, be a little bit off-putting for some people. They may think, you're too big to have a stuffed animal. And, he said to me, Mommy, why are you so concerned about what people think? And I'm like, oh, where did that come from? I guess I told you that at some point. And he said, you should be concerned with what people think about you. I don't care if somebody thinks that I'm too old to have a stuffed animal. It's my stuffed animal. I'm like, okay. But, he's so confident in himself. And even now, so I made the decision, surprisingly, to send him out to school. So he is physically going to school. He's not doing online learning, which has come as a big surprise to most people, because in the beginning I said, no way, I'm not going to send him back out to school. But you know what? He's at school and I feel comfortable. And he's the only child who wears a face shield. So he has a mask and he has a shield. And so even as recently as this morning, I said to him, Ethan, I think you may be the only person in the school wearing a face shield. And so he said, oh, I am. And so I said, and you feel comfortable with that? You're okay with being the only person? He said, yes, I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with being different, Different is actually special. So I said, okay, well, there you go. Go ahead, my confident child. He just does not give a 2 cents what anybody says or what anybody feels about him. He's very, very sure of himself. He's very assertive. Like I said, I think he got that from my father, because he didn't get that from me, because that's not my personality. That's not Cliff's personality. The closest person I can think of is my father, where Ethan's personality is concerned. But he's also my little protector. If I'm late, he'll call, Mommy, are you okay? Where are you? I come home. Sometimes I'm so exhausted, Nackia, that I'll just, lie on the couch and I'll fall asleep. And he will come with his blanket and he'll cover me. So I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm covered in Ethan's blanket. And he comes with a blanket and a pillow just to make sure that, I'm comfortable. So I'm just proud to see how much of a big heart he has, how confident he is. And just two good boys. I'm really, really proud to watch them grow to be just fine young men.
What does success mean to you?
Let's see. For me, success means being just content. Being content with your life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to challenge yourself,
right,
for advancement. It just means having a sense of peace about where you are in your journey, having fulfillment in knowing that you have done your part, and whether that is helping someone else, whether that is through mentoring someone, giving back in some way, whatever that looks like, knowing that you have used the skills, the talent, the resources that God has blessed you with to pull somebody else up, in a sense. That for me is success. And just knowing that you can lay your head down at the end of the day and feeling good within yourself about the choices and the decisions that you've made. That is success for me.
If you had no limits, you had all the resources that you need, all the finances, every talent at your fingertips, what would be your big bold dream? What would you want to accomplish? Who would you be between now and the grave? No limits. Dream with me.
You know, I think I shared this with you before, but one of my biggest dreams, and if I had all the finances, resources,
everything, no limits,
fingertips,
no limits,
I would want to open, I think, a state-of-the-art school for children with varying degrees of disabilities, from cognitive disabilities to physical disabilities,
and emotional,
whatever it is, right? And everything else in between.
And everything else in between.
That's definitely a dream of mine. And like one that has all the bells and whistles, right? So really state of the art, high tech, everything. That's what I would want to do.
You only have one question left. At the end of your life, what do you want us to remember about Jorja Williams Lindsay?
That she lived her life to the fullest, that she took full advantage of the blessings that God provided to her, and used that not just for her own or for my own selfish gain, but to use that to the betterment of others, to use that to help others, to give back, to contribute in a meaningful way to somebody else's life.
That's it. That's the last question. Any questions from me before we close?
No questions, but
that's fine. You know, listen, we just ask you out of just professionalism. You don't have to ask me none. I like to ask the questions.
No questions. I do have a statement, because you mentioned the difference that you're seeing in the way I approach things, and I will say this, and I'm not saying this just because you're my friend, and I'm not saying this to stroke your ego. You have played a monumental role in that. Your workshop, Nackia Salmon, that you did a few months ago, the two words that really come to mind simply are life changing. The journey that you took us through and allowed us to truly connect with ourselves, to truly connect with our inner feelings, to truly try to understand why we are wired the way that we're wired, to understand why we make certain decisions that we make, and to also chart a course for the future and how you led us through that. I just think it was amazing. You are a phenomenal woman, and what you have given to so many people through your encouraging words, through even this program that you're doing right now, I don't know how you do it, but it is just incredible. And I want to say thank you. And even outside of this, you know, just the calls sometime to check in, the workshop follow-ups that you've been doing with, you know, your participants, the WhatsApp messages, you have no idea how much that has helped me on my journey and has given me a completely different outlook on life. So I really want to say thank you. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for all the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you for being a wonderful friend. I love you. I admire you. I respect you. And I will always, always be here to fan your flame. Mwah.
You know, make me cry with makeup in a makeup sting.
Nackia media does not shed tears.
Thank you for your words, and I receive them into my soul and into my spirit, and let them take roots so that they may blossom and bear fruit to serve others.
Amen.
I want to say thank you for being, what do you call it? We call a woman that will help other women give birth. Is it a doula?
Something like that.
So you're like if me I call the wrong word, but you, according to Mrs. Boyd, you make my baby leap. You help like birth, encourage and coach and help me just push through in so many moments where I just wanted to stop. So I guess I want to say I am because of you. Aww. And it's a mutually beneficial, it's a mutual symbiotic thing that in how we make each other better in every way, whether it be as a wife, because so much time you taught me off of the cliff. Even though I think of the pancreas side and you're the pancreas payroll. Walking marriage, walking parenthood, being a professional in corporate America, which is not easy, and walking a dream. In the aspects of my life that matters, you matter. And you make them matter to you too, just as much as sometimes more than me. I'm like a fool baby, this for me or Jorja. But so I want to say thank you for everything. In front of the scenes, behind the scenes, and things that I don't even probably know of. Thank you.
It is my absolute pleasure. How far I come from, you know? Hello.
With that, we close. Yes?
Yes.
Guys,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. It was meant for this time, Jorja. It was meant for this time. Guys, I pray that the love that you see and the words that you hear will fall on fertile soil, that you may believe in your heart that whatever challenges you are facing and whatever you believe now, it can change. And believe that everything in your life is for a purpose. It is for a purpose. It is for a purpose. And for you to pause and believe that life is working for you. And I pray that you have a support system like none other. And if you don't have a support system, start intentionally building one by being a friend and a ride or die for someone else. That is how you start. So I pray that this episode blesses you, is a balm to your pain and a motivation to your spirit, or a swift kick in the ass to get up because you can do it. Amen. Have a fantastic week. Like our videos, share our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch up with us next Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.